Welcome. Thank you for choosing full chapter CBSE guide. Please subscribe the channel to get the latest videos. Don't forget to have a look at the playlist of our channel to find the previous videos for your class. Once again, welcome to class 8 Geography chapter 4 Agriculture. We all like bread and biscuits, right? But when we take a bread or biscuit, we never remember that it is made from wheat that was grown somewhere in a farm. Here, a plant product is transformed into a finished product. Wheat is a natural resource. Humans cultivate wheat, but it grows naturally and is produced by the earth, which makes it a natural resource. Biscuit or bread is a finished or end product of an agricultural activity. You all are familiar with the term agriculture. What is agriculture? The word agriculture is derived from the Latin words ager or agri. Agri means soil and culture means cultivation. So agriculture means cultivating a piece of land or planting and growing food plants on it. In other words, it is the science of practice of farming, including cultivation of the soil for the growing of crops and the rearing of animals to provide food, wool, and other products. It is also called farming. Agriculture is a primary activity that includes growing crops, fruits, vegetables, flowers, and rearing of livestock. In the world, 50% of persons are engaged in agricultural activity. 2/3 of India's population is still dependent on agriculture. The transformation from a plant to a finished product involves 3 types of economic activities. They are primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary activities include the extraction and production of natural resources. Examples: agriculture, fishing, and gathering. Secondary activities: the processing of these resources. Example: manufacturing of steel, baking of bread, and weaving of cloth, etc. Tertiary activities provide support to the primary and secondary sectors through services. For example, transport, trade, banking, insurance, and advertising. Agriculture is a primary activity. Favorable topography of soil and climate are important for agricultural activity. So let us look at what this farm system is all about. Agriculture or farming can be looked at as a system. The important inputs are seeds, fertilizers, machinery, and labor. Some of the operations involved are plowing, sowing, irrigation, weeding, and harvesting. Then what will be the output from the farm system? The outputs from the system include crops, wool, dairy, and poultry products. Now let us see the types of farming. Farming is practiced in various ways across the world. Farming can be classified into 2 types depending upon the geographical conditions, demand of produce, labor, and level of technology. Subsistence farming and commercial farming are the main types of farming. Subsistence farming. This type of farming is practiced to meet the needs of the farmer's family. Traditionally, low levels of technology and household labor are used to produce on small output. Subsistence farming is again classified as intensive subsistence farming and primitive subsistence farming. In intensive subsistence agriculture, the farmer cultivates a small plot of land using simple tools and more labor. Climate with a large number of days with the sunshine and fertile soils permit growing of more than one crop annually on the same plot. It is practiced in areas of high population pressure on land. It is labor-intensive farming. That means most of the work are done by using human labor. Yield per hectare is high in intensive subsistence farming because high doses of biochemical inputs and irrigation are used. The size of the land holdings is small and uneconomical. Farmers take maximum output from the limited land by raising 2 to 3 crops in a year from the same land. That is, multiple cropping is practiced. The term intensive subsistence agriculture is used to describe the type of farming characterized by high output per unit of land. Intensive subsistence farming is practiced in Punjab and some parts of Rajasthan, UP and Madhya Pradesh. Rice is the main crop grown. Other crops include wheat, maize, pulses and oilseeds. This type of farming is prevalent in the thickly populated areas of the monsoon regions of the South, Southeast and East Asia. Primitive subsistence farming. This type of farming is practiced in few pockets of India on small patches of land using primitive tools and family or community labor. Primitive subsistence farming depends upon monsoon and natural fertility of the land. In primitive subsistence farming, the farmer does not use fertilizers, irrigation or other modern inputs. This type of farming produces just enough crops to sustain the family. It is typically done on small areas of land with traditional tools like hoe, dowel, digging sticks, etc. Primitive subsistence farming includes shifting cultivation and nomadic herding. Shifting cultivation. It is a slash and burn agriculture. Farmers clear a patch of land and produce cereals and other food crops to sustain their families. A patch of land is cleared by slashing the vegetation and then the slashed plants are burnt. So shifting cultivation is also known as slash and burn agriculture. The ashes are mixed with the soil and crops like maize, yam, potatoes and cassava are grown. After the soil loses its fertility, the land is abandoned and the cultivator moves to a new plot. Shifting cultivation is practiced in the thickly forested areas of Amazon basin, tropical Africa, parts of Southeast Asia and Northeast India. Nomadic herding. Herdsmen move from place to place with their animals for fodder and water along a defined routes. Severe lack of available water for the growth and development of plant and animal life is the characteristics of arid regions. A nomad is a member of a community without fixed habitation which regularly moves to and from the same areas. They are migrants who leave the traditional abode in search of greener pasture for their flocks. In most cases, their movement is caused by the absence of good land for their flock to feed on. This type of movement arises in response to climatic constraints and terrain. Sheep, camel, yak and goats are most commonly reared in nomadic herding. They provide milk, meat, wool, hides and other products to the herders and their families. Nomadic herding is practiced in the semi-arid and arid regions of Sahara, Central Asia and some parts of India like Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir. Commercial farming. In commercial farming, crops are grown and animals are reared for sale in market. When farmers grow crops and rear animals for economic activity, it becomes commercial farming. It is practiced with the intention of selling the products on the market. Due to the need for a high amount of output, farmers cultivate larger areas of land with heavy use of machinery. The use of higher doses of modern inputs like high-yielding seeds, chemical fertilizers, insecticides, and pesticides in order to obtain higher productivity is the main characteristics of commercial farming. Commercial farming includes commercial grain farming, mixed farming, and plantation agriculture. First, let us see what is commercial grain farming. In the commercial grain farming, crops are grown for commercial purposes. These areas are sparsely populated with large farms spreading over hundreds of hectares. Severe winters restrict the growing season and only a single crop can be grown. Wheat and maize are common commercially grown grains. It is practiced in areas like temperate grasslands of North America, Europe, and Asia. The cultivation of crops alongside the rearing of animals for meat or milk defines mixed farming. In mixed farming, the land is used for growing food and fodder crops and rearing livestock. Mixed farming has therefore become the basis for modern agriculture. Mixed farming systems provide farmers with an opportunity to diversify risk from single crop. It is practiced in Europe, Eastern USA, Argentina, Southeast Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. Plantation agriculture. Plantation agriculture is a type of commercial farming where a single crop is grown. Large amount of labor and capital are required. The produce may be processed on the farm itself or in nearby factories. The development of a transport network is thus essential for such farming. Tea, coffee, sugarcane, cashew, rubber, banana or cotton are plantation crops. Major plantations are found in the tropical regions of the world. Rubber in Malaysia, coffee in Brazil, tea in India and Sri Lanka are some examples. You must have heard about organic farming. In this type of farming, organic manure and pesticides are used instead of chemicals. No genetic modification is done to increase the yield of the crop. Have you heard about crop rotation? Crop rotation is the practice of growing a series of different types of crops in the same area across a sequence of growing seasons. It reduces reliance on one set of nutrients, pest, and weed pressure. Crop rotation also reduces the probability of developing resistant pests and weeds. Growing the same crop in the same place for many years will gradually decrease the soil of certain nutrients. A well-designed crop rotation can reduce the need for synthetic fertilizers. It can improve soil structure and organic matter, which reduces erosion and increases farm system resilience. Agriculturalists have long recognized that suitable rotations such as planting spring crops for livestock in place of grains for human consumption make it possible to restore or to maintain a productive soil. Rest of the chapter we shall learn in another session. Please stay with us. Thank you. Thank you for watching.